I awoke the next morning and I had a complete, utterly incredible, indescribable rebirth of experience. I actually literally felt like I was being reborn. And I didn't have, I never, that idea never even crossed my mind at the time before, that that's what it was. But afterwards, I realized, oh, that's what it was. And so I was given the gift of a having an adult having a rebirth experience, and it made me more interested in the future. It made me a little bit more interested in maybe not afraid of uh, death. It made me, it gave me many things.
In 1979, when you were 27, you had a conversion experience at Easter time in Jerusalem. You had been wandering the city, you got back late to the hostel where you were staying, and you were locked out. You wandered the streets, you entered a building that was open, by chance the Church of the Holy Sepulchre,
Hmm.
and you fell asleep on a marble slab. You woke in the morning, and near the tombs, you had a conversion experience. Your conversion experience is part of a larger spiritual saga in your life. You tell that story first in detail in a remarkable interview with Ira Glass in 1997. And the way you tell that story of conversion, curiosity, and questions are an important factor. Religious dogma is not part of it.
Hmm.
It's almost a Zen like experience of you living with the hypothetical spiritual
Hmm.
question, what if you only had 6 months to live?
Right.
Triggered by the beginning of the conversion experience among the tombs in Jerusalem
Hmm.
at Easter, you set off for 6 months to live an ordinary life, returning home to be with your parents,
Hmm.
bicycling 5,000 miles across the United States to visit your four brothers and sisters, becoming a wandering Walt Whitman to visit ordinary towns and ordinary people who you didn't know. You struggle to live in the moment as a Buddhist would without being a Buddhist. And you also recognize that it's important to live the experience of past and future too. That's only a brief summary of the details in the Ira Glass
Hmm.
interview. My question is, what is the role of curiosity and questions in this experience of your own personal spiritual exploration? How were you able to be unfettered and curious about spirituality?
Um, there's a lot to unpack there. I'm trying to think about the most direct way. So the the adventure, the episode I had in Jerusalem on Easter, had been preceded by many years of me with a question. And the question was, I was an atheist, I think you would say, and I was spending a lot of time visiting religious temples, places, religious ceremonies, religious people, because primarily they were the most colorful, they were the most photogenic. And I spent a lot of time watching people through various religious rituals and ceremonies, and also people of faith who fed me or served me, traveled with me. And so the question I was asking for many, many years was, um, there seems to be some competing claims by all these different religions. What's true? What's and what? Not just what do they say, but watching what the people do. Um, what's true about the belief? Is there something true? And if there is, what's true and what's not true? And so I was very consumed by this question and thought about a lot in the back of buses while they were waiting to take off, because that's where I spent a lot of my adult life at that point, was waiting for a bus to leave. And I was reading the Bible, I was reading the Quran, I was reading the Zen koans. I was reading a lot and asking this question: how valid is it? Um, so that was the origin. And so when my experience in Jerusalem happened, it was in the context of me having been asking these questions for a very long time. And the experience that I had was, um, I got an answer, and the answer was, for you, this is what's true. This is what's true for you. And it wasn't as if there was, it wasn't as if it was true for everybody. It was that it was true for me. And that was sort of, what I needed. But I was, uh, I'd been taught in my growing up that when you had a religious experience like that, that you would be, you would be reborn. You would have the veil lifted. You would see. You would have this second birth. But none of that happened. It was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Um, what now? And then I got an answer of, okay, what now is you have to get ready to die in 6 months. And it's like, that's strange. So I had this assignment, and it wasn't until many, many years later, after this assignment, that I realized that the purpose of the assignment was to give me the rebirth experience, because I didn't die after 6 months. I awoke the next morning and I had a complete, utterly incredible, indescribable rebirth of experience. I actually literally felt like I was being reborn. And I didn't, I didn't, I didn't have, I never, that idea never even crossed my mind at the time before, that's what it was. But afterwards, I realized, oh, that's what it was. And so I was given the gift of a having an adult having a rebirth experience, and it made me more interested in the future. It made me a little bit more interested in, maybe not afraid of uh, death. It made me, it gave me many things. Um, and so there was foundational questions at the beginning about, what's true for me, or what's true, and then I got an answer. And now I have other questions. So, there's, I've got a lot more questions. Um, but but for me, that was a step forward to, um, making a story that I found helpful and useful. In fact, I have this really weird theory, a philosophical, theological theory that nobody's really interested in, but I'll tell you anyway, which is that I think the universe is not an answer, but the universe is a question. The universe itself is a question. And I have a belief in God, and I think the universe is God's way of asking a question, which is, who am I? So, for me, the question is foundational, um, because it is um, because it contains itself and something other at the same time. It's it's a thing that's not done. It's something that's process by definition. It's in process. It's unfinished. It's inherently incomplete, but yet it is complete. The question is complete. So it has this paradoxical structure of being complete and incomplete at the same time. You could say God's a question too. It's the same thing. Um, in fact, I have this related theological idea of the superposition. In quantum physics, there's this idea of the superposition, which sounds really weird and illogical, but as far as we can tell, mathematically, it is true. Which is that like a photon of light is both a wave and a particle at the same time. It's both there and not there at the same time, and that superposition, that ambiguity, is kind of resolved when you observe it. And I think God's also like that. God is both, it is present and not present, real and not real at the same time. It contains both, because there's no explanation of God or the universe that makes any sense at all. It's all unsatisfactory. Either the universe always was, what does that even mean? Or it was self-created, what does that mean? Or God was self-created, and there's no satisfactory answer. It's all paradox. And so for me, it's like a superposition. It's like it's both at the same time, and you resolve it, but with belief. You can believe the story you want, and when you believe it, then it's true. And so I choose to believe the God story because it's more interesting to me.